Thank you. In a recent Gallup poll, they found that the average American is retiring at age 62. But the ADA just found that the average dentist is retiring at age 69, even though the average dentist earns between 4 and 5 times what the average American makes. So why is this happening? Almost 10 years later, dentists are retiring. Well, after having spent more than a decade interacting with dentists around their personal finances, I've got some ideas, but I'd like to share them with you using quotes from someone who shares my passion for music. In addition to being an excellent banjo player, he's one of the world's best comedians. His name is Steve Martin, and here's his first quote. "Never criticize a man until you've walked a mile in his shoes. That way, when you do criticize him, you'll be a mile away. And you'll have his shoes." Most people don't know what it's like to be a dentist. You're a business owner and an entrepreneur on one side, and you're a clinician trying to perfect your craft on the other. It doesn't leave a lot of time for personal financial planning until it's too late. Here's Steve Martin's second quote. "I love money. I love everything about it. I got a $300 pair of socks. I have a fur sink. I have an electric dog polisher. And I've got a gasoline-powered turtleneck sweater. And I bought some dumb stuff, too." As one of the biggest earners in the country, dentists are also one of the biggest spenders. And if you're not careful, over time, that spending continues to inflate as they make more money, requiring a much larger nest egg than the average American. Here's Steve Martin's third quote. "Always do business as if the person you're about to do business with is trying to screw you. Because he probably is. And then if he doesn't, you can be pleasantly surprised." For the most part, very successful salespeople know that dentists are one of the highest income earners in the country. But they also know that they don't have a very strong financial background. Combined with that, if you take a very successful salesperson who's incentivized to sell financial products to dentists that may not be in their best interest, you end up with a problem down the road. So what I'm going to do to solve this problem? I'd like to give you my 3 best pieces of advice to help overcome these 3 challenges. First, I want you to write down your net worth every 3 months. It's an easy thing to do. You basically add up all of your assets, subtract all of your debts, and the difference is your net worth. Every 3 months, just tally everything up and look at it. You'll start to notice some observations around trends. You'll see some things go up, some things go down, and some things flatline. You'll start to self-identify problems that you can ask questions to friends and advisors about. And over your career, you'll identify problems well in advance of them becoming a big deal. Second, I want you to track your personal spending on a monthly basis. I'm not talking about just randomly getting in an intense budgeting session. I'm talking about connecting like your credit cards and your bank accounts to a simple online spending tracker that just sums everything up and says, this is how much you spent this month. Every month, at the end of the month, just write that down. And throughout your career, what you'll notice is by acknowledging what it is that you're spending, you'll sort of correct that habit a little bit, and it won't get so inflated as time passes. Third, I want you to hire the right professional advisors. These are not commission-based salespeople. These are what are called fee-only fiduciaries, and make sure they have experience in the dental industry. If you do that, hire a fee-only fiduciary, they're legally bound to act in your best interest because they only get paid to give you advice. You want to make sure you combine that with a seasoned person in the dental industry, and you'll have a good advisor to guide your decision-making. Finally, Steve Martin says this. He says, "I got to keep breathing because it'll be my worst business mistake if I don't." In my experience, anxiety about the future is the enemy of living in the present moment. Retirement planning isn't about saving up money for some future time down the road. It's about enjoying things today. It's about embracing the people around you and the experiences you're having right now. And by getting organized and getting the right guidance, you're going to be in a position where you can enjoy your day more fully. It brings me to my final quote, one of my favorites by the Dalai Lama. It goes like this. Man sacrifices his health, to make money. And then he sacrifices his money to recuperate his health. He lives his life anticipating the future and never living in the present. He lives as if he's never going to die, but then he dies having never really lived. Now, my hope for each of you is that you can fully embrace the present moment because of the confidence you have in your financial future. Thank you.